Hi, this is Mark Chandik, and welcome to the latest edition of Prosperity Perspective. Did you know that you can sell your life insurance policy to a third party? Why would you want to sell your life insurance policy to a non-related third party? Well, the answer is because you no longer need the policy, want it, or can afford the policy. For example, as you reach retirement age, you may find that you don't need a life insurance policy anymore because your assets have grown to a level where there is no longer a need. Instead of cashing the policy in or surrendering it, you potentially can sell it to a third party. A second example is that you may own a business and have insurance that backs up a buy-sell agreement or some other corporate agreement. And you're no longer active in the business, or the business has been sold, and you have those company policies that are no longer needed. A third reason is that life insurance may have been part of your estate plan, and you've decided to take a different tact or strategy, and that policy used for estate planning is no longer needed. So you decide to sell it. So now that you know why people sell a policy, let's talk about how you do it. The process of selling a policy to a third party is called a life settlement. Originally, this strategy was born out of a need brought about during the AIDS crisis. There were individuals who were suffering from AIDS and needed a lot of medical care, who didn't have the financial wherewithal to pay for it. However, they had a life insurance policy. So they went to the insurance company and asked that the death benefit be advanced during their lifetime so that they could afford to pay for medical care. That is now a standard part of all life insurance policies. Basically, if you're not expected to live longer than 12 months, then the company will advance the death benefit to you so you can pay for medical expenses. The formal name for selling a policy to a third party is called a viatical settlement. And as more have emerged over time, life settlement became the more common name. The life settlement industry has become a very big industry. And the primary players are hedge funds, whose names you probably won't recognize. They make bids and offers to purchase policies. Why do they do that? Because they're pooling together a bunch of policies with the hope that the return to their investors will be somewhere between 6 and 8% per year. Some of the policies they buy, the insureds are going to die much sooner than expected, and some of the policies they buy, the insureds will die much later. Overall, again, they're looking for a 6 to 8% average return. The motivation for someone to sell their policy is that they would receive a greater amount of money than they might get if they just surrendered the policy. So what type of policies can you sell? Well, you can sell term insurance policies and any cash value policy. Typically, the minimum face amount needs to be at least $250,000. Okay, so now that we understand why someone would sell, what policies can you sell, and the history of the transaction, let's talk about the actual process of selling a policy. The first thing that occurs is an evaluation of the policy itself for potential sale. There are 3 factors that go into the valuation process. First, we look at the policy parameters itself. How much premium will be required for the purchaser to maintain the policy for the rest of your life? This will be the buyer's cost. Second, evaluation of the seller's life expectancy must take place. Most purchasers want at least 2 studies done to predict your life expectancy, down to the year and month, because it's that exact. Life expectancy in general needs to be 10 years or less, although there are a few exceptions. Third, the capital markets need to be robust so that there's adequate money in the marketplace for the acquisition of policies. There have been times, for example, the 2008 financial crisis, where money dried up for this strategy. So once the policy is evaluated, your life expectancy is calculated, and the markets are robust, you will know if your policy is saleable. Currently, there are 2 methods to have this evaluation completed and begin the process of selling your policy. There are several companies that actively market on television to solicit you directly. The ad shows an elderly couple, says that if you want a better standard of living later in life, it shows them with their grandchildren. They want you to contact them directly and negotiate with them directly. The positive is that you go direct. But the negative is that their offer may not be the most competitive. The second option is to utilize a properly licensed settlement broker in your state who will assist you in the entire process. Hopefully, this person also utilizes an auction process by which your policy is put out to auction to 20 potential buyers, and competitive forces are utilized to bring the seller the best and highest offer. If you utilize a broker, there will be fees involved in the transaction, which should be fully disclosed up front. The entire life settlement process from beginning to end can take 60 to 120 days to complete. And the paperwork at closing is very extensive, very much like buying a house. However, once the policy is sold, you'll never hear from that life settlement company again. They won't be haunting you. They won't be looking over your shoulder. You may be thinking about, what are the tax consequences for selling my policy? Every life insurance policy has what is called basis for tax purposes. And basis is defined as the cumulative premiums that have been paid into the policy thus far. If you sell the policy for greater than your basis, then the gain is subject to capital gains tax. In summary, this cottage industry was like the wild, wild west 20 years ago. Fortunately, today, it's highly regulated, and life settlements have been accepted as a legitimate way to exit a policy other than dying. If you enjoyed this prosperity perspective, please click like and subscribe below. If you're interested in receiving a free copy of my book, please click on the link in the description of the video. Until next time, this is Mark Chandik.